The Games Cage.
Hey yo, what's poppin', people in the party? I'm done with that intro. Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the Games Cage. Today, we are going to be reviewing Cuphead for the Nintendo Switch. Now, for those of you who somehow don't know or have lived under a rock, Cuphead is a beautiful 2D action game that's hand-drawn and looks like an old-school 1930s cartoon and doesn't just look the part, it plays the part. It feels incredibly well in that aesthetic. I have some footage up screen. Essentially, the game is a boss gauntlet, like you're fighting a bunch of bosses throughout the game. There's some platforming levels in the game, there's some shoot 'em up levels in the game where you're in the little ship, but for the most part, the game is all about the epic boss battles, the designs, how they look, how they feel, and obviously, it is a very difficult game. That is the number one thing you need to know about Cuphead right from the gate, is that it is a hard game, but it's not Dark Souls hard, right? It's not to the point where you will literally quit. I think anyone can, not anyone, I think a lot of people can beat Cuphead, because the thing about Cuphead is the bosses are about, I'd say, 2 to 3 minutes long max, which isn't that long really. But it's obviously about when you go fight it, he's gonna kill you really quickly because you just don't know what patterns he's gonna do, right? When you go into one of the, like the flower boss, one of the earliest bosses in the game, he kind of like dabs, he kind of just goes like this. I fucking love him. He's great. He does these weird attacks where he's shooting these flowers from the sky, or he leans his head forward at you, and obviously the first time going through, you don't know that. But once you've died 20 times against him, you know, okay, he's gonna shoot these here, he's gonna pop out his head from this side once he's up here. So it's like you start to learn all the patterns and everything starts to make sense to you, and you get into this flow, right? The thing about Cuphead is it's important. You have to play it in a row, like not necessarily in a row, but like you have to play it consistently, because that way you keep that flow going of like, okay, I know what I'm doing, I'm moving quickly, right? Because basically you have a move, you have your shoot where you auto shoot by holding R2, change the controls because the default controls suck, and then obviously you have a dash, right? So these three techniques you have are very important. What's cool is you can also unlock different types of guns as you play the game and get coins. You can get a gun that is short range and shoots like 3 blasts. You can get one that locks onto the enemy, but they're slower shots. You can get one that charges your shot and shoots it. So there's a lot of different ways you can change up the way you play and you experience the game. And like I said, it's hard, but it's never unachievable. Another thing we obviously have to talk about is the art style. Fucking phenomenal. The game looks unbelievable. It is so clean, right? And it's beautiful on handheld Switch, and it's beautiful on TV. Like, it's not one of those I would even recommend one over the other. Like, I think they both have a place, because actually on handheld it does feel good to kind of have it close to your face so that you can see everything that's going on. Like, they do an amazing job at it. But also on the TV, obviously, you get like the grander 1080p look of it. But again, because it's an art style game, it is well suited for handheld and TV. I think different people have different experiences. Like, I have a friend who told me, oh, he prefers playing it on handheld, whereas I like playing it on TV more, but I also like playing it on handheld. So amazing stuff on both sides there. Again, the game also has these platforming levels, and the platforming levels are fun. They kind of feel like a distraction. Like, they're cool levels, but they don't feel like that's the meat of the game. Like, it feels like an awkward addition, but they're still really fun, right? It's a nice, relaxing change of pace, because even the platforming levels are difficult. And then there's also these shoot 'em up levels. So basically, you'll be in a little ship, you could turn tiny, you could turn regular, shoot bullets, shoot some cannons. So overall, right, you got those 3 sets of levels, and obviously the main attraction is the boss fights. The boss fights are just so eccentric, right? You'll go from fighting this crazy witch in a candy land to a cat that's kind of like a reference to Tom and Jerry. You'll be fighting a Woody Woodpecker. You'll be fighting steamboat people. It's like there's so many nods and references to the past and those old school cartoons, and like even the game leans into it so hard, down to like the music sounds like it's coming from an old TV. The filter on screen is like these like little grains going around. It's like they nail it so well. The music, everything about it, and everything about the enemies is exaggerated the way it should be, right? Because in a lot of these old school cartoons, all the designs of people were exaggerated. Like, everything had eyes and everything was weird and all that shit. So incredibly well done, leaning into that aesthetic, the bosses, the gameplay. Am I missing anything? Nah, I think that's mainly it. So I super highly recommend Cuphead. I think I think Cuphead enters in my must-buy Switch games. Like, I think Cuphead is the type of game that when you buy a Switch, I feel like you should buy Cuphead. Because it's such a blast, right? And you can do it in 2 players, so you can play with a friend. That's great. There is a simple mode, so if you're having some difficulty, it can alleviate the pain a little bit. But the ultimate satisfaction of beating a boss after, like, 30 tries. Like, there are bosses in the game where I'm, like, playing and I'm like, I'm going to break my fucking Switch in half if I lose this boss again. And I'm yelling and I'm like, I'm gonna fucking die. I hate everything. So, but when you beat it, you fucking scream. You're like, yes, right? That's the Dark Souls effect. That feeling of satisfaction and victory that old school games did, Dark Souls does, or whatever the fuck. It's like, there's an ultimate satisfaction here, and it's a spectacle to see. It's a spectacle to play. Highly god tier recommend. Thank you all for watching. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you bought it or if you're gonna buy it after this. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.